What's up, Team Replay? Listen, we are going to be going live with Butchware, who is running for governor of California for the Green Party. I've got one of my best friends here, Alex Lipton. We're going to wait a moment to get some of you on here. What's up, y'all? Yeah, no, that's right. I'd like to point out that I am on a short chair, and he's on a big chair.
Just so we could be the same height.
So he could be like Tom Cruise and be like on a box and like perspectively speaking.
Yeah, never reveal how Tom Cruise.
No one cares. California sucks. It does, and it has. But, you know, Ronald Reagan, we can start with him. Listen. Oh, you got some haters up on here.
The government sucks, but
the
land is not so bad.
Right? That part. The government sucks everywhere, you guys. And that's kind of like, how do we even start this conversation? Anyway, your mama sucks. Do your biceps suck? Because mine don't. Look it. Love from India. We love you. What's up, girl? Did you see my tag? Thanks for the Kid Rock inspo. Wild. Listen, y'all, we need like 3 hours to get into explaining the bigger issue and how it's legitimately like we need a long time together to get into this stuff, because I'm like one of those people, straight up, I didn't vote. If my grandma heard me say that, she would come unglued. So don't repeat that later.
You got it.
I didn't vote in the last election because I was like, it's not going to matter, because as we say, 2 wings, same bird. Now we say 2 wings, same drone. But at a local level, perhaps there's something we can do. But I don't know. Nonetheless, I wanted to get on here and give Butch some spotlight, you know, because obviously things are withheld for a reason. Big T. Somebody, chode, I love you. Have you ever heard that word?
Chode?
Chode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yes,
duh. We're close in age.
Familiar.
Anyway, why are you so negative, dude? Who are you? Anyway, I'm booting you because you're like... I feel like you're blocked by... Block, bitch! Anyway, don't be negative up in here. You know how I roll? What's up, Nashville? What is up with it? Jenny! Okay. Blavna! Hi, friends. So, for those of you who are outside of the country or California, you're going to be like, what is going on here? And what is going on is we are going to be... I've missed you. We're going to be chatting with Butchware, who is running... I love you, too. You've been around forever. Tony, you've been around forever. Y'all are amazing and awesome. And, by the way, I want you to go follow one of my best friends, Alex... What are they going to say?
I don't even know.
I don't even know either. Alex Lipton. It's because I've got this pouch.
Oh, yeah.
I've got that in my mouth.
Apparently nicotine's good for you. New studies are in.
Is that the Maha movement? Sorry. That's me acting adult.
It's the nicotine industry.
It's the nicotine industry. Thank you, Allie. What a beautiful compliment. Who will win the push-up competition? Duh. You know the answer. You know the answer to that. So I'm going to look and see if Butch is on here yet. Yes! They all need to be head scissored is the issue. All of them. Every single one of them. So I haven't seen...
Publicly,
right? So I haven't seen Butch hop on yet. But in the meantime, you all know that I am all over the shop when it comes to things. And I've been stop asking me, dog. I saw you the first time. Literally, it's super annoying. I love you, but let's have some etiquette up on this motherfucker. I was not going to cuss today. And there is the self-defense expert of the world. What's up? Tim Larkin in the house. Good friend of mine. Also follow him. He's got great content. And he's just had shoulder surgery. So we are waiting for Butch. And we're going to be talking politics. Which to my bestie and I... Listen, I only started figuring out all this stuff forever ago. But then even only like... a day ago, I figured out more stuff because of him. And it's very deep. And you can't give somebody trigonometry without giving them subtraction and addition first. You know what I mean? How do you eat an elephant? Well, for one, we're not eating any elephants. But is one bicep, one bite at a time. Okay. So, where's Butch? Are you actually squeezing when doing scissors? Barely. I can knock you out with just my
By looking at you.
by looking at you. That was good. My adductors. So that's what's up. Beautiful. Lovely to see you. Yes, we need fresh air in the government, but here's the thing: the government just, what do we say?
Government's made of people, and the people have been corrupted by ideology, and it's been going on for way longer than we care to imagine.
Long time.
There's no way we could vote our way out of this, in my opinion.
Long time. What's up, Sam? I almost wore my rash guard. I will let you know that I wore it to see my grandmother yesterday at her retirement home, and this elderly 85-year-old woman was like, I love your referee shirt. It was super cute. Okay, I'm going to remove you from the live video because you asked me again about arm wrestling and I told you to stop. So hear me out. When a big muscular woman tells you to stop, you stop. Okay? So we're clear. Coolio's lost 45 pounds. That's amazing. Are you telling us? Coolio, you've been around for a long time. It's good to see you. No, I am in California and we're here to interview Butch. And I don't see him on here yet. So that's okay. That's okay. Wow. See, here's the thing. It looks like the folks that come and interact with my stuff, they just want to talk about muscles, which is fine and totally cool because we need the world to know that there's Butch. Yeah, no, that's right. The world loves muscular women. Okay. Butch, I see you. Here we go. View request. Look at me. I am being super technologically savvy. Now Instagram better not pop back and say, you know, what's up? It worked.
What's good? What's good? Sorry for the mix-up. My team sent me the StreamYard link. We thought we were hosting this through our live, so I was scrambling. I was like, "Where's the StreamYard link? I don't know where it is." And then thought, you know what? Let me get on IG, and there you are. So it's all good. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, don't even trip because I actually suggested, I was like, 11:05, let me warm some people up. Because where do we even start? And by the way, this is one of my best friends, Alex Lipton. I don't know if you'd be familiar. His uncle, Bruce Lipton, is like a famous author in the...
Yeah,
do you know of his work?
a little bit, but I'm happy to hear more.
In the family. So he's like representing SoCal. I'm representing NorCal. We're in SoCal right now.
Beautiful, and I'll just also mention he's got a little bit of a in the writer studio, James Lipton kind of look going on right now as well. I don't know if there's no relation or what, but
No,
yeah,
no relation, just ironically similar.
No,
ironically similar.
Aesthetically, maybe.
it's funny. He walked in and I was like, you look very Ashkenazi. Is that how you say it?
I guess.
That's his bloodline. So we get it.
Also Italian, guys. You keep leaving
Yes.
that part out. I'm
So
more...
let's clear the air right now. Those of us that are serious about Palestinian liberation, we ain't got nothing against Ashkenazis. Ashkenazi culture is beautiful. My PhD advisor is an Ashkenazi Jew, great sense of humor. He was an anti-Zionist. We're 10 toes down for Ashkenazi culture. What we are not 10 toes down is for Zionism, and people forget that there are 10 times as many Christian Zionists as there are Jewish Zionists.
Right.
So let's clear the air right there. Go all in on your Ashkenazi Jewishness. Do not hold back.
I gotta pay tribute to my Italian ancestors as well. Can't leave them out. Don't want them blindsided.
Right.
No, and we'll pour some out. This is
Up.
although this just has green tea in it right now because I'm nursing a sore throat. But yeah, so yeah, let's get to it. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Here
So
we would do a StreamYard too, because like how you fight against the machine and get the truth out, and what is the truth? Do we even know? You know what I mean? Like it's like, how long do you have? I've been in and around trying to unpack and figure out what all of this means and why we're all living lives that aren't thriving.
Yeah.
we're all not rooted in love. And I'm talking like the first thing I watched was when in 2009, it was about, fluoride in the toothpaste and it's the most obvious place on the back of the tube. And it just
Yep.
went from there. And then, of course, the conflict happened in 2023. Towards the end, I started unpacking some things through 2024, 2025. And then, even 5 days ago, I get together with my bestie, and I've known him for years. And I asked him one question. I was like, "Do you think we landed on the moon?" And he went into a whole diatribe about some wild things that, like, just took us back
They
to.
they say Stanley Kubrick staged the whole thing. Now, I'm not here to discuss that. Just although I will give a shout out, for Clockwork Orange is one of the greatest, ever in history. So let me give you guys just a couple quick notes.
Yes.
So the way that I've done these conversations so far, when I was hosting them on my StreamYard, and I'm gonna just give you kind of the layout, and you tell me if this makes sense on your live. What I've usually asked people to do, because I'm a historian, I'm here in my office at UC Santa Barbara. I'm gonna go in for my lift a little bit later on. I'm wearing my greens. Hold on, my Wear 26 Green Party jersey. So I'm gonna go get my lift in after this. But what I've usually asked people to do is to have a conversation about the past, present, and future of liberation from wherever they sit, right? And so I usually ask that we start with the present, which is looking at our current moment. And you already started to do that, which is what I wanted to call us in on, like, right? How do we read where we are right now? And we kind of take turns going through that. And then past. So what lessons do we take either from history or through our own personal journey? You know what I'm saying? That help us to center this moment and then the future. Where do we go from here? Because diagnosis, so I lived in West Africa for years, and my spiritual mentors and teachers there would always say it's a lousy doctor that gives you a diagnosis and then offers no treatment.
Right? That's
Right. So we want stuff that we can use going forward. So if that's cool as a framing mechanism, we'll start with the present. Courtney, you already got us started. So let's unpack the present and then move back to the past.
where do
So
you
keep going.
I love that framework, and I'm glad you brought that and tied that all together because that's where what I was just like, how do you even start to explain to the average person how we got to where we are and what it all means, and can we even fix it? You know?
Yeah.
And my initial focus was going to be dispelling third party votes and getting to know you and so forth. But you give us a little bit of background quickly. Highly intelligent. All I needed to see was you working out. Those were those were some beautiful lifts that you have, and
Likewise, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you're a monster in the best way. So, okay, let's start there then. Let's start our discussion of the present in there. So, I made this post yesterday about the fitness to fascist pipeline
yeah,
and how there's this connection between the alt-right and the manosphere and fitness content. And actually, as a historian, I'll get into this a little bit later, but the Nazis did the same thing, right? There was this kind of eugenicist, model. So how do we, as people who, like fitness and health and training, those things are important to us. How can we, in this moment, kind of fight back some of that space, from the fascists that seem to be dominating, right, the health and fitness arena right now? And I want to hear from you first, and then I'll offer some reflections of my own.
how do we start? So for the here and now, I'm creating programs for people that are accessible. Because the challenge I find is like a coach is, everybody's at a different walk in their journey. Some people are traveling, some people have lots of experience. And that's always been my challenge is because I speak and I identify and I relate and build rapport. And I want to be everybody's best friend. So I want to help everybody. So I've
Yeah.
always found that challenging to, as a content creator, I despise that word, but it is what it is.
Yep.
How you meet people where they are. So building programs right now, and of course using AI, which might even mean alien intelligence from something I watched yesterday, as opposed to artificial. Who knows? And these this technology we have in our hands a little too early. It
Mm.
can be used for good and can be used for evil. is, and that's a whole nother conversation. Is good and evil even a thing? Like, we could sit here and talk for hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can ask, Zionists and imperialists definitely that evil is definitely a thing. That I mean, just in my opinion, yeah. So, but by all means, continue. I'll let you set the stage first, and then I'll come in.
But yeah, no, that's it, is accessibility. You
Yeah,
know, so making it something that is accessible to everybody and meet them where they are and go from there.
crucial. So, what a lot of people that didn't start following me until I ran for vice president might not know is that so I lost 110 pounds in 1 calendar year. So actually 11 months. I went from 330 pounds and like 37% body fat to 230 pounds at 6.5% body fat in 11 months. And I did that at age 46. And so this was like a big crucial part of my journey. And then I got online in 2020 in the aftermath of the George Floyd murder because I've always been a community educator and activist and organizer, but I've never really used social media for anything. I called it anti-social media and stayed away from it.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I realized that I had to go public to as many people as I could possibly reach with anything good that I was teaching in face-to-face interaction. So that led to like my platform kind of blowing up overnight. And at that point in time, it was largely just the Black and Muslim communities that were following me. But then a lot of other people started to follow along, especially after 2023, when a lot of people were waking up to the genocide. But in between those, I actually did online fitness programs in addition to online community education stuff. And so it was literally about linking our spirituality, our activist work, how we show up in the world with our training. And we had 80-year-old women taking these courses, accessibility, whatever your disability status, we were finding ways to find the strongest, healthiest version, the fittest version of you. And that's going to look very different for different people, right? But the idea was that the instrument ultimately that we use to get free is the whole of ourself. So we're trying to cultivate the strongest version of us, whatever that might mean. And when we do that together in community and in solidarity, then we're not just building strong individuals. We're actually like coming together, we're breaking bread together, we're sharing experiences, whether you're, like straight Black Muslim cis man like I am, or, trans woman, we're all connecting and we're all learning what strength and health looks like for us as individuals and then for one another. And so all of that is just to say, for me, it's a very natural conversation, but I just think that it looks to some people like they don't understand why somebody that's running for office would be posting workout videos except as thirst traps, but they're really not meant as thirst traps. Like they're really actually meant to start a different kind of conversation about our bodily health.
That's such a huge game changer because how many people are sick? We need all of our faculties, And I just, again, this conversation is so big, and I've got two I'm super ADD, very energetic. I get super excited. There's so much to talk about and unpack. So it's very nice to have two grounded men here to bring back like a structured conversation, because I just want to go out and like tell women, remind women, like, get out and get strong and powerful. I get nothing but respect and, creating safety and confidence in women, and really starting to like, because I'm going through my own spiritual journey from, we, again, like there's a lot to fit into a conversation,
Yeah.
and but like you said, you're just meeting people and getting rid of all the labels,
Yeah.
right? Everybody needs to have a label, whether it's religion or their how they identify, or not. The end of the day, we are all human beings.
Human being to human being, I'm going to value you and see you in that capacity first and last. It's the thing that matters the most. Human dignity for human beings, human rights for human beings, right? All of it. Okay, so then that leads me to a question because I want to tell this story. So let's start to move to the past a little bit. Um, so what like when did you really get into your journey for for bodybuilding and for developing the physical strength? Like how did that story start for you? Because I only started following you when I saw you were following me, and I was like, oh man, sis. So, and sorry, my phone was ringing. But so tell me about how like how you started turning yourself into the human machine that you are.
Well, that's you. I'm like, this is about you because I'm always, in my ego and been like, oh, let me tell you about me. But
Now I want to hear it. I want to know because I'm going to tell my story. So I definitely want to hear yours. We got to share stories.
shit, that's how we are as humans. We're storytellers, right?
That's it.
Connect. I grew up hating my legs and grew up, we're roughly the same age. So Kate Moss was all the rage. On a lower level, I didn't understand that I had, the root cause was being raised by an alcoholic parent and the disharmony that comes from that. But on the surface level, what could I control? It was my body. So I started counting calories when I got to high school, eating disorders by the time I hit my senior year, because I was supposed to be the first female president of the United States of America. That was my ambition and that was my goal. So student government, all the things, went and met Dianne Feinstein when she was still ancient back in whatever 1998, whenever that
Yeah.
was. Right? So I then found methamphetamines and out of
Wow.
high school in a Christian rock band, went straight to meth from a sibling of mine and lost a bunch of weight, thought I found the Holy Grail. So being programmed as a young girl to be
To be
obsessed with
skinny and obsessed with being rail thin,
my
to the point where you're literally killing yourself and calling it beauty.
100%. And that then turned to sexual assault. I was assaulted by a man that was supposed to be my boxing mentor. And then that led down the path of alcoholism. But in between there, I got into the gym and started lifting weights, when I was 18 years old. I'd always played sports here and there, but I was never good at one thing. But, enough to know that I've got this body and I wanted to get strong. And then it wasn't until like 27 ish, because I got into bodybuilding as like a pathway out of addiction.
Yeah.
And I stumbled into this muscle kink world, if you'll call it. And men asking
Not
me,
it's not an inaccurate depiction. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, what do you mean men like women that don't have a thigh gap and they want to see hairy armpits and like giant biceps? And I used to cry about my calves being fat because I couldn't wear cowboy boots as a little girl. And now you want to like worship that? Like, I was so mind blown. Like, it just completely, it was a huge watershed for
I'm gonna have to post a calf video. I'm a little afraid to do it because that's the my genetics lean heavily towards the calves. But continue, yeah, by all means. Like I feel like it gets dangerously close to like an OnlyFans for calves if I start posting calf videos. But please continue.
I know. I'm like, and you say that, and my brain just goes off with all these explosions because I mentor younger girls, and also, having that aspect of, getting paid to crush things between my legs and sharing this stuff with women because I want women to know the way the world really works and who's.
And hold on, let me just stop you there. And in fairness, your quads. I mean, so like I mean that so I met my wife at the gym. I was coming out of a really, really difficult divorce. It was brutal for me. And I was like just completely crushed as a human being. I'm not gonna lie. And I see this 5'2", 125 pound Mexican chick squatting 285 by 6.
What?
Right, exactly. And so, like I immediately, and what I later discovered is that like, the strength in the body was nothing compared to like the strength in the spirit and in the heart and in the soul, and all of those things. And when she saw your post, because she's, look, she's a Mexican American sister. Let's just say that she's got great glute development. Let me
Yeah.
just be very let me be without over sexualizing my own wife in this conversation. She's got great glute development. When she saw your quads, she was like, "What?" Like, yeah,
I
yeah.
would like to gift her my leg program. So,
Let's
and
make it happen. Let's
I
make
mean,
it happen.
grow a
So
lot faster than you. Let's face it, it's just how it is. As women, we have wider hips. You know, God designed us to pop out babies, which I haven't done because I'd be in prison for throwing mine off the balcony. I'm sure of it. At least not in this lifetime. You know what I mean?
God
So
forbid, but yes,
yeah,
continue. Yeah.
take care of all the kids that need some extra mentorship and support. But
Yeah.
you know, that's I'm joking. Plenty of men that could train legs, but nonetheless, and we do want to see your calf videos. But yes, I would love to gift her with that. And
Awesome.
thank you, because it's balance, right? It's like figuring out, you know, how you go about doing this stuff without being a thirst trap and being empowering, but at the same time, you know, finding that balance between, because sometimes men will come up to me and they'll be like, I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm like, let me know, you know,
Yeah.
but then, you know, so it's like everything is like feels like we're lacking balance in every way, shape, and form. Anyway, I got off on a side
No,
tangent.
well, I mean, I think that you're right. There's graceful ways to talk about training and conditioning, that aren't always about, sexualizing our bodies. Because in the end, as I said in that reel that I posted, for me, it's actually not about the aesthetics. It's about the ethics. So what maybe you found in your journey in recovering from addiction through training is similar to what I found. So we were both raised by alcohol, by people who were heavily impacted by alcoholism. My father drank himself to death.
I'm sorry.
My mother, both of her parents were alcoholics. So she went to Al-Anon meetings regularly. She's not herself an alcoholic. But those trauma scars, run deep, and they run through, through our lives in very particular kinds of ways. So, what I heard you talking about was kind of like finding your own power and your own strength. And that's what I started to find is that really what had become the drug of choice for me, because I'm a Muslim, I converted to Islam. And alcohol is not part of the religion, and I'm somebody that takes that very seriously. But what I learned is that I had started to use food, right, as my drug of choice.
Yep.
That I had started to kind of, like eat away my feelings, to drown my feelings, with food. And I still love food, right? I try to make healthier choices, but I also don't want to, to fall into the traps that lead to anorexia or
Yeah.
to bulimia, right? So I still relish that. But what I found was that by taking on training, and that I could make some more disciplined decisions, and I could really come to terms, and with my own body, and really start a journey to find out, well, what can I do? Like if I apply a little bit of discipline and I apply a little bit of effort, what can I achieve? And that's when I realized that really this is actually about discovering what's possible for you. It's not about some idealized body that's out in the world. It's not, it's really just about figuring out what you're actually made of. And I think that's the part of the journey that produced the most meaning for me. And then that led me to back to some of the things that the scholars that I write about in my academic work. There's a great scholar, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba of Senegal. He's a Sufi scholar. And he said, cultivate internal beauty and you will attain external beauty without artifice. And I realized that that's really what the physical training was about. It was about cultivating a kind of dedication, a kind of discipline, a kind of self-scrutiny that if I applied it in multiple domains in my life could just help make me a better person. And I think that that's dramatically different from the kind of Instagram influencer fitness space where people are using doctored videos and it's all about aesthetics and angles, because really the angle that matters the most, right, is are the internal ones, right? It's rectifying those, having those be straight that really matters the most. So yeah, so that's been my experience.
That's huge. You were like you're on another level, dog. I'm gonna need you to send me that quote, and I'm gonna write that down and like bring that back as a North Star, because when I was talking about balance earlier, you know, I find it's like, oh, what gets engagement and what's this, and you know, you got cancel culture. There's just so much that you know you want to talk about and bring in, and but again, it's like just having these conversations and shining light on what some of these major issues are. And it's like people can't even hold their attention, myself included, for more than 30 seconds. You know, YouTube shorts for kids Like they've got ASMR stuff on the side while they're like having an interview about a basketball player that's like mindless as it is, but then they have to have more mindless content on the side just to keep the attention. And that video is only like, 1 to 2 minutes long. And I'm like,
Such a crucial point though, right? Because you know that like when it comes to training and conditioning and planning, your diet for maximum performance, all of those things require setting goals that are far out in front of you, that are not just about instant gratification, but that are actually, in point of fact, about like disciplining your ego, disciplining your appetites, setting goals, and then like imagine if we like actually applied that to the political space, right? Like
I'm like, you bringing this to politics? This is amazing. How do we make this cool again?
yeah. So I think this is a great start. So let's but you just started to talk about the future, and I'm not going to let us bypass the past. So
Yeah,
let's dig in deeper on the past. You went first on the present. I'll go first on the past.
then he can join in because that's his
Oh
area.
yeah, no, please, by all means, jump in, jump in.
Like I will dilute this, so you go and then you chime in because that's your field of.
Well, I just have a couple of things to say about it. I mean, I first mentioned that the Sydney Sweeney jeans commercial taught a lot of people for the first time what Nazi eugenics discourse looks like, right? And the ideal kind of body types and the way that blonde hair and blue eyes and certain kinds of physical types are associated with ableism and racism and and also homophobia, transphobia. People forget that the Nazis were exterminating queers and Roma and not just Jews and also blacks and others. Is that that's actually all part of a single project, right? And it's a single project that says that there is this ideal type, like this Spartan male, right? That humanity should be aspiring to. And I think that figuring out a way to engage with this more positive side of health and wellness. So, like, we have wellness activities around the country that are associated with the Wear campaign. We call them Wear Wellness. And people do hikes, people do yoga, people do meditation. Some people get together to lift, others get together to run. And but whatever their age or disability status or preferred activities, the goal is to try to somehow reclaim that space from its really, really kind of ugly origins, right? In some kind of eugenics thought. And that stuff was always bullshit. I mean, Jesse Owens went to the 36 Olympics and and said, "Master race my ass," right? And took home all of the medals, right? And so like we're calling cap on all of the Nazi propaganda, but it's one thing to like to diagnose the problem and where the origins of these ideas come from, and it's quite another to like figure out a way to move in the space. So I would really love. We started this program back when I first got on social media. That was really about connecting. Like at that time, it was largely about faith and fitness, and then became about politics and fitness, like our social justice and fitness. I think we need to start this. There's a great brother, Colin Coaches, who posts content, and there's some other folks in the fitness space. Some of them, leftist politically, and others just not manosphere douchebags, right? They don't might not identify as leftists, but I think that and we especially need women in it. We especially need trans folks in it. I think we need to like make this a project, and I would love to work with you on how to like reclaim that space because the past is ugly, but the future doesn't have to be.
Same. How do you even like bridge the gap between like where do you even start?
Well, first of all, I just want to say everything that you stand for and your essence, I really appreciate
Me
you.
too.
And it's resonating deeply with what you're saying. And it's not just the word, it's the heart that comes with it. And that's really at the heart of it. And I love how you have the framework of past, present, future, because they're all relevant and
Yep.
kind of exist in all of them at the same time at various features.
Yep.
And so what you were describing, even with eugenics and everything like that, and how ancient this concept is, there's a lot of othering that goes on. And at the core of it, it's an othering, separation, enslavement, one side,
Mm,
the other ideology. And this ideology is really, really old and gets shown as different characteristics. A lot of religious people will refer to this as Satanism. And there's a face forward version of this where it's like worshiping the devil. They're worshiping the devil. They think Satan is God. No, it's actually, that's just a smokescreen for the real problem, which is an ideology. And the ideology is really old. There's four main pillars of the ideology of Satanism, which not devil worship, because our
Yep.
likes to make association Satan, devil, but Satanism in terms of the root word of it, adversary,
Yeah.
accuser, adversarial relationship mindset. And the four main pillars, the first one is egotism.
Come
This
on.
that it's all about me. I'm at the center of everything. And this even has infiltrated a lot of new age world where you go
Definitely.
or you find a more like a self-help section. Like there's good stuff if you want to improve yourself, but then at the deeper level of it, it's saying me.
Worship of the ego, worship of the self.
It's
Absolutely.
It's all me.
no, and that
Yeah,
and that's
continue because what you're saying resonates so deeply. I don't want to stop you, but I'm like chomping at the bit. Please continue.
oh, so okay. So the second pillar of Satanism, satanic ideology, really, it's called moral relativism. This
Mm,
idea, this idea, false idea, that objectively there is no such thing as right or wrong. The idea of your conscience that you can do whatever you want as long as the end justifies the means. It builds upon egotism,
yeah,
and this part of ideology has infiltrated so many aspects of our world. And the thing is that we've inherited this program from a very long time ago. So the idea that you could just do whatever you want because what's right for me might not be right for you, but who cares? Because it's all about me. Then the third pillar, and this builds to eugenics because that's a huge part of it. The third pillar of the satanic ideology is called social Darwinism. It's
mm.
this idea of evolution and skewing it into there's a master race, there is a
It's
superior.
supremacism. Yeah, yeah. So white supremacy just being the the kind of most recent and perfect version of it. But there's been other supremacist ideologies. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I love to use movies. I went to film school and use movies as a universal communicator for a lot of things. There was a film made back in the 1960s, Rosemary's Baby, which was a huge like cultural moment. And there's a lot of messed up things about it, but it goes into the whole satanic thing. And a lot of people think of this group at the top as like all one race, all white people, all men, or all this or all that. But there's this really crazy scene in Rosemary's Baby where they go into the room of the ruling elite, and it's literally like a slice of life. You walk down New York City, it's like it's not about the visual aesthetic of it. It's this mindset. And so social Darwinism was most recently exhibited in World War II, this idea of like the master race. And it's even older than that. We
Yeah.
are chosen, they are not. It's all inherent within this of separation, othering people.
Dehumanization. So what's the fourth one?
The fourth one is eugenics. It's
Yeah.
when you take all of these things and you build to it and say that there is a superior gene pool and we're going to eliminate everyone else that's not part of this.
And the story always this ends the same way because as soon as you have a supremacist complex, right? So I teach about this in my African history classes. The Dutch, when they were genociding the indigenous population of South Africa, they referred to the indigenous people as schepsels, creatures, and to themselves as mensha, people, right? That they all and the story always ends the same way because as soon as you take that first corrupt step of claiming superiority on the basis of your ethnicity or religion or whatever it may be, then it is just a matter of time before those that you demean and dehumanize will be holding on to something that you want.
Absolutely.
And you have given yourself the permission to take it and to take them out of the way. So let me just I wasn't expecting this conversation to go this way, but I'll just tell you in those online classes when I first started, I was teaching mostly to the Black and Muslim community. So I talked a lot about the role of racism and supremacy complexes in a traditional understanding of Islamic cosmology. Because what I learned in West Africa from actually from the same community of that scholar that I mentioned that said Sheikh Ahmed Ubama, who said, "Cultivate inner beauty, and you will attain external beauty without artifice." He classed the sin of racism, the supremacy complex that you're discussing, under a broader category in the Quran of sin called istikbar or arrogance. It is claiming of superiority. And he says in a book called Masalikul Janan, which means the pathways of paradise. It's the way out of the darkness and towards the light. He said, never forget that it was arrogance that brought low the devil in the first place. We seek refuge in God from both of them. So, in other words, from the devil and from superiority complexes, supremacy complexes. He said, the cure is to contemplate your body and how it was created.
Right.
He said, you begin your life as a nasty drop of sperm. You live your life as a walking sack of feces, and you end your life as a corpse, odious and rotting. You are all the children of Adam, and it is from dirt that you were created.
Yeah. And
The,
that's
i- the idea, and what I've often said in my Muslim community education classes is that the Quran's most radical argument is actually its simplest, which is that you're all from the same origin in dirt. None of you are better than any other on the basis of your tribal origin, ethnic origin, race. Which we know is a eugenicist construct to begin with. It applies to plants. It doesn't apply to human beings. There is no racial divide between species. But just to finish this particular point, so inside this Islamic, West African Islamic cosmological understanding, the devil is actually the first racist in the history of creation. Because in the Quranic version of the story, the devil is commanded to bow to our shared human ancestor. And Adam hasn't been split into Adam and Eve yet, right? So this is one human being, not, in the way that we would understand it, strictly male. It's literally holding the whole of humanity inside it. So the devil is commanded to bow to our shared, origin, to our shared humanity. And this is the Quran's 38th chapter, 75th verse. God asks Iblis, he says, why did you not bow to that which I made with my own hand? So in the Quran, just like in the Bible, like God says in the Bible, let there be light, and the light comes on, right? God creates through speech. But that's not how the human being is created. The human being is created with a divine caress. The dirt of the earth is molded by the divine hand and then animated with divine breath. It's a caress to create the thing, and then a kiss to blow it, to animate it. So the question is, why did you not bow to that which I made with my own hand? And the devil says, I'm better than him. You made me from fire, you made him from clay. So the idea is that for the first time in the history of creation, something said, I'm better because of my lineage origin or my bodily composition. The first supremacist in history is the devil. And so then when you understand that, you know that Satanism isn't about goat cults or these other things. It's literally, it's right out in the open. It is diminishing the humanity of other human beings and claiming superiority. And when you have that understanding, then you really realize that the human being is this incredibly precious and noble creation. In my faith tradition, and I converted to Islam when I was 15 after reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. I read that book cover to cover in one night. I wanted what Malcolm had. I went out to my public school library, checked out an English translation of the Quran the next day, and I converted before the week was out, right? And when I told my mom I'm a Muslim, she said, and I need to go to a mosque so I can convert. And she said, that's fine, baby, but it has to wait till the end of the week because I'm working. And I only mention that because my mom is still a practicing Catholic, and she had taught me that all the paths ultimately lead back to God. So she didn't have a problem with my conversion experience. And I'm not talking about it, this Islamic version of the story, to try to convert anyone. I want people to understand the humanism that is actually at the core of all of our sound faiths and philosophies, all of our sacred and secular traditions remind us about this extraordinary nature of the human being and what a beautiful and noble thing the human being is. Because in the Quran that I read in translation at age 15, every single time uh, God says God loves in the Quran, the direct object of the verb to love is a human being every single time,
right.
right? The human being is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's why those of us that stand up and fight against oppression and injustice, whatever we may believe, whatever our personal faith may be, from the standpoint of my tradition, we're doing the Lord's work because the human being is this precious, precious creation. And honoring it and keeping any undue harm from reaching it is the noblest jihad. It's the most important form of struggle, which I guess takes us into the future. But I want Courtney was digesting a lot of that. So
I
before we move to the future, we can finish closing that part of the convo.
my brain's just blowing up because I don't know, I identify more with like Gnostic teachings, and I've only just come across more stuff like within the last week that had me quite even like 2 months ago I came across mitochondrial Eve, and that
Same.
all come from this
Yep.
woman that
The
came out.
same, the same East African ancestress. Yeah.
And just it's this constant evolving exploration, I suppose, but like you
Yeah.
said, not here to convert anybody or convince anybody. We all come back to the same thing, that we are this special, beautiful, sacred being that was
Yeah.
created. If the earth is 64 billion years old and we're looking at Atlantis and all these like just like, what is our commonality? That we are all humans. And how the fuck do we come together and realize that we're in fifth generation warfare? Everything is a fucking psyop. And can we just take a breath? I'm taking my own advice here, and come back and focus on, like, starting with fitness is brilliant. It's the one thing that you can't get your mind right if your body isn't right. You can't get your body right if your mind isn't right,
Yeah.
but it's like, where we go shift from awareness and like pointing fingers and they're the problem and they're the problem and that's the problem, and realizing that all the shit is a smokescreen to divide us and to conquer us, which
Excellent.
old as I'm doing my best to be
No,
more.
the divide and conquer, right? That's the inevitable application of that supremacist ideology. So in I learned to speak the Wolof language, which is what they speak in Senegal, where I did my PhD research. I learned to speak that language fluently. And people say in Wolof, the child of Adam, which is the way that they say the human being, right? It's the reference to the Quran, that they say the child of Adam never releases what their hand is holding until they're reaching for something better. So much of so-called leftist or outside or opposition politics, right? You even hear it in the word, is about what you're trying to deconstruct. And the thing is that what's really most important is what we're trying to build. So when I read that Quran cover to cover in one night, I learned this truth that I later found in all of our traditions and all of our philosophies, which is that all empires fall.
Yeah.
Nothing that's taken by force is ever held, and so therefore the fall of this empire is not um, impossible, it's inevitable.
Right.
And so if you understand that, then the thing that you're going to be most concerned with is, what are we building in its place? What are we offering? Not what are we tearing down? And you know what? I think that we just landed on this.
I said,
Is that this is where bodybuilding comes in, right? That this is where, because it's all focused on what we're trying to build.
yeah.
It's not focused on what we're trying to tear down. It's actually like, how can we, through disciplined practice, through regular conditioning, teach the body politic some new muscle memory, train, new habits, right? And this, when you start to think through the applications, I think we might be onto something. So let's move into that that forward looking part of the conversation. Here's what I'll do. I'll make some commitments. I will try to make sure, because I stopped posting a lot of the fitness content when we started, the campaign, and then my team was like, no, you got to bring it back, and I'm like, okay, great. So I'm going to try to make sure that I at least get one post per week where we're talking through some of these ideas about the relationship between, our bodily health and the health of the society that we're trying to build. And I'll also try to facilitate a conversation between, yeah, go ahead. Oh,
Try. You're either pregnant or you're not.
okay. So,
You
all
do
right, all
your
right, all right.
best.
Hold on. Fair, fair. And we could also go Star Wars with it. There is no try. There is either do or do not. Right? Okay. You could have
I'm
gone Yoda on me,
trying
and
this down.
you might have seen that we did a May the Fourth be with you social media reel the other day, because ballots go out May 4th. And we are leading a rebel insurrection over here. So we appreciate the reference. Okay, you have my commitment that I will post at least one fitness related to social justice and movement work post every week. from now until the primary. And then you also have my commitment that I will facilitate a conversation between aligned fitness. You said a word, content creators. I'll even I'll use one that I hate even more, influencers.
Yeah.
That I will try to facilitate. No, I will facilitate. Got me. Listen, I didn't. My father, God rest his
Yeah.
soul. Had a sixth grade education. He was a brilliant man, but not an educated man. I did not get all these PhDs by not listening. Well, I went, these. I didn't write books and get a PhD by not listening. Whenever I always consider everybody that's giving me any knowledge to be my teacher. So I'm trying to take the lesson. I will not try.
God, don't you? This
Yes.
guy's dope as shit. Okay.
So so I will facilitate a conversation. Um, I think that we'll leave it up to the people involved, whether it makes sense to have that be bi-weekly or monthly.
Yeah.
But I want this to be a conversation that isn't just kind of about this campaign, but about the broader movement, because that's the other part of this is that campaigns come and go, and we're fighting to win, and we expect to win, and we know that they're afraid that we will, which is why they're trying to sue me off the ballot and doing all the other kind of crazy stuff. But we're stronger than they are, and they're gonna learn the hard way. But whatever happens, this is a movement that we need to continue. So we'll pinky promise, through the phone, that we're going to continue to build this space where we're bringing, our, what we can call it. One of my buddies, Lavish Mac, he called it revolutionary gains,
Love
right?
that.
Revolutionary gains. So we'll start hashtag revolutionary gains, and then also hashtag resistance training.
Oh,
Those
Right?
are great. Those are great.
that's
Yeah.
great.
So let's build this out, and then that way, because we're stronger than they are. The dark side relies on hate and anger, and we are animated by love, and love endures. Positive emotional incentives are stronger and more lasting than negative ones. Negative ones, you have to increase the intensity in each kind of hate or fear-based intervention because people become desensitized to it. Whereas love is enduring. It's not a dopamine boost, it's serotonin. It's something that keeps you centered and grounded. So we are going to build this for the long run. You have my pinky promise.
You have my commitment too in building these programs that I have to give people access that aren't able to access it. That
Amazing.
the financial ability or, make it a pay what you can.
All
You
right.
know.
And so the last thing, because I'm realizing that we're short on time. Where are you based?
So I moved to Cyprus at the
Oh, wow.
7th, and then I'll be back in California for my dad's memorial July 8th. So I plan to be here more or less for a couple of months. And I'm even
Okay.
thinking like we'll do,
We
we
need
could,
to get you, we need to make sure, listen, so then you have to make a commitment to me.
yes.
You need an absentee ballot. You're
Okay.
not getting off the hook without voting for me. I need a public endorsement. And when you're here in July, come hell or high water, we got to get a lift in.
Oh, that's
And I'm
easy.
100% voting for you.
100%.
Appreciate it.
Reach into all of our networks and like just getting to know you and hearing what you're based in, and it's beautiful. So we'll continue the conversation, get the word out. I say we go do a watermelon.
Power building. Yeah, all power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. And just so like we can talk more about the training stuff later. But like I'm 52 and still putting up stupid numbers. I mean, the people need to understand.
Can be
So
done.
yeah,
It can be done.
yeah,
So
it can be done. All
get
right.
after it. Thank you so much for taking the time and giving us. Somebody had asked to, what was the quote on the devil, and I said something else. So I'll get a recap
Yep,
and
and I can send you those. I posted a few of those quotes when I first got on social back in 2020 and 2021. I definitely have them. Just be in touch. My team is helping me with DMs because I'm getting a lot of DMs these days. But we'll make sure that they get those turned around. And please just make sure that you share this live.
I'm
Um,
gonna
you know,
sit.
don't
Add you
Yeah,
as
post it, and then invite me as a collaborator.
And then I'm going to add a highlight on my page and put that up on there. And
Amazing.
we'll just keep this going and making content and coming back to the same conversation that we are all human beings rooted in love. It doesn't matter religion, identification, whatever. We all need to come together. You know, this is like the children first party. And we could talk about all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the
Well,
day, we have our common bond, and you just spoke it, and it's mad respect.
it's actually at the bottom of our campaign website on every page. It says solidarity beyond identity or ideology.
Love
It
it.
Love
in
that.
in the end, it doesn't matter, who you pray with or who you lay with or what you look like. Like your rights and dignity are sacred, and and those rights include healthcare and housing and dignity and to be called by the name that you chose for yourself, right? All of those things. And we got to be willing to fight, for one another. We got to be willing to fight for people that live their truth different from how we live ours, because they're going to divide us on the basis of those superficial differences to oppress us all, and we have to be standing shoulder to shoulder. Otherwise, the storm that is coming is going to flatten us all.
100%.
Yep.
And we're not paying no $6 or $7 for a bottle of water at the airport. Those days are over.
Yeah, we got to do better. Great to meet you guys, and looking forward to continuing the conversation. Yeah, so take care.
All
Take
right,
care.
bud.
Peace out.
Bye. That was great. I love Butch.
Me too.
He was great.
Yep.
You guys, there's so much that we could unpack. Like, I was super, like, where do you even start? But he said some beautiful things that were rooted in love. And at the end of the day, that's what wins,
And it's
period.
our nature. That's the beautiful part too. It's inherent with all of our natures. It's not something we have to be told. It's something that's within us. And that's the wonderful thing. The more people come together and recognize and share that, the easier it is to feel that this is the true reality, not this program and this history that's been laid upon us, these stupid glasses we're looking at the world through. Once we take those glasses off, we realize it's just inherent within us all the time.
I was going to take your glasses off.
You never take someone else's glasses off.
Oh, really?
You got to learn to take off. Yeah, because that's the movie They Live. Put on is it force someone to put on glasses or take them off? It could be there's a resistance there.
What's that movie that in the
They
'80s?
Live.
Is that the one where he puts the glasses on?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same kind of thing. It's like you
Okay.
need to put these glasses on. The longest fight scene of all time, symbolic of trying to wake people up when they're not ready.
And you guys, Alex and I will do some lives. We've done some podcasts recently. And, I feel like people are starting to really question reality and these dividing constructs of, oh my gosh, we don't have time to get into it right now, but we will. And we will continue the conversation, because if we don't, we are up shit creek without a paddle. And yeah, and even myself, like I had some I hate that word. I'm triggered. I had some things pop up hearing certain words, that Butch was speaking, and I'm like, hey, and just observe it. And I'm like, where, yeah, hey, where's that coming from? We're like, it's just really fascinating. There's so much to unpack. And remember that it's a process, and I've been evolving myself for years. And when I think I have something figured out, I don't. I learn new stuff. And that's the whole point, is gnosis means knowledge, right?
An inner knowledge, not information. A knowing. It means more like wisdom, essentially.
It's like knowing that experience I had in early 2025, where I felt like I say possessed by the spirit of Jesus Christ. But what's the construct of that? I don't know. But all I know is that I had this feeling for 2 weeks where I had no anxiety, depression, financial insecurity. I felt everlasting joy, and it was a trip. But then when, I try to piece it together with the Bible, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And that doesn't make sense. And that, what? Like, do you know what I mean? So there's a lot to unpack. But at the end of the day, to keep it really simple, it's like, bitch, we're all human, we're rooted in love. And we're in this crazy ass, big, giant, galactic battle, we'll call it. Is that good? Galactic battle?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? And at the end of the day, we all come back to the same thing, that we are from the divine spark of God, regardless of what you want to classify yourself as, or identify as. We just cease fighting everyone and everything, as we say in 12-step recovery. Do you have any? Yes, that somebody gets it. Somebody said Musk isn't human. I'm right there with you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny boy. Oh, my dad. Never mind. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, you
Yeah.
got any closing remarks?
Sure, yeah. And like you said, the spark within. It's, you can call it a light, you can call it love. Everyone has love within them. It's the force that beats our hearts, that circulates the blood through our system. And the thing that we have to recognize, like our good friend over there just said, is that we all share this common good of humanity. We all breathe, we all need water, we all need to eat food at some point or another. We all want freedom, and we all want to share that freedom and share that love. So when you strip away everything else, that's what comes down and unifies us. And you can identify the real enemy, which are the ones that are trying to corrupt all of those things, just pollute the air, toxify the water, control the food population. Then you start to see who the real hidden controllers are. It's not right versus left, it's top versus bottom. And in that too, it's not about verses anymore. It's about coming together in unity. And the last thing I'll say too is that a lot of indigenous cultures, they have this thing called the medicine wheel. You could say it's a cross. It shows up all over the world, all throughout time, but it's about coming together, east, west, north, and south, coming together to the center point. And once the wheel stops spinning, something new emerges, a new structure that honestly was there the whole time, which is the commonality of things, but we just couldn't see it because it was spinning too fast. So when you stop the wheel and you get into the heart of things, you realize there is this beautiful unity that's persistent in every tradition.
And remember that history is written by the conquerors, and there's always more information out there. So as you feel yourself starting to get closed off, like I often do, right? We're human. Got to come back and question, why is that? Why am I feeling this way? But back to what Butch said, if you're not in your body and building inner strength and discipline and, ego, nutrition, all these things, it's really easy to get hijacked and manipulated. My bestie over here is, I'll say, an illusionist, but practices magic, hypnosis, the subconscious psychology. Like, it is so easy to program us as the masses. And I've been off my phone for literally almost 2 months. I get on here, post, and leave because I was taking care of my father and in the present moment. And you start to realize, like, I was obsessed with the Epstein files and all this stuff. And yes, there's a massive root issue. But when you think you're pointing the finger at what the issue is, it's even like beyond what I can even comprehend right now.
When you point a finger at something, you've got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. So yes, there's all this external stuff going on, but really the war is going on within us, and it's happening in different ways for everybody. As all the wise masters have said throughout time immemorial, is that the answers are within you. If you've ever been happy for one moment in your life, even if it was just for a second, that means that over 50 trillion cells and triple, quadruple the amount of bacteria all living in this superorganism, living and dying in generations. If you shrink that down into time, that's like decades, hundreds of years for the cells. We're talking about how can we have peace in the world? There's too many people out there. Can't get everybody to agree. Well, if you were happy just for one moment in your life, that means that the entire organism was sharing in that feeling. And there is no reason to think that we cannot extrapolate that and see that in the outer world. If we realize it's happening within ourselves right now, we will see it in the world. If you have the eyes to see it, you will see it. If you have the ears to hear it, you will hear it. And almost more importantly, often left out, is you have a sense to feel it, you will feel it. Everything comes from that feeling. Don't let that go by the wayside. Bring all those things together, again, to the center point of your existence.
That's what's up. And Jess just said Epstein files messed me up. Me too, babe.
It's good. I mean,
it's but when you get down to the root, like, it's wild. Like, I'm talking Atlantis. Like, this been long time.
This story is going on way longer than we care.
Long time. It's just taken a different. Anyway, again, we'll get into that stuff in the near future, but also so much more. Stay tuned. But focusing on solutions, like what Butch said, okay, well, let's get rooted in solutions. And that's when I said, okay, I need to stop like obsessing on the problem and focusing on what's the solution. And I'm sitting on one, and I'll start working on that more. But again, I can't start planning unless I get myself out of fear, because I'm saying like, oh, well, I don't want to start investing all my time into this. And then we have the next pandemic. We have the next energy lockdown. We have the next, fuck that. And I'm saying that frankly, but we are going to walk through fear, move into love, question our reality, look at how we can help other people. But first, you got to help yourself. And as Butch is saying, bodybuilding, start focusing on your body and helping people wherever they are. You know, like I posted on my story earlier, take 5 minutes. You know, move your body. Go out and take a fucking walk. Walk around the block. That's it. Simple. Keep it simple. Tomorrow, walk 2 laps around the block. You know, focus on strengthening yourself. And then once we get strong inside, we can start to then see other people. And it's really easier said than done because I've spent a lot of time pointing the finger and thinking I had it figured out. And it goes even deeper than that. So stay open, stay rooted in love, stay tuned. And you and I need to start doing some lives, by the way.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if y'all have the attention span for that, but if you're up for
They
it,
do.
about to blow your mind. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, love you all. Thank you
Peace
for
out.
tuning in. Butchware is awesome. I love that guy. Highly, highly, highly endorse. And I'm so grateful for my cousin Gigi for putting him on my radar because I had no clue who he was. And so let's get into it. You know, that's right. Love you all.